Greetings of peace and love today to the family, to all the friends, and particular people watching this channel that may be new. Greetings. How y'all doing? What's up? What's happening? On this episode, what I want to do is that I want to speak on the meaning of 666. Again, I'm doing a lot of new episodes now, and these episodes are based on different questions that I'm getting from Twitter, from YouTube comments, and that's pretty much it. Sometimes email, but I don't really check my email, someone else does. So mainly just, I do check my emails at times, but sometimes other people do. So, it just depends, kind of iffy with emails. But as far as Twitter and YouTube, I'm getting a lot of these video ideas and topics from there. A lot of good questions are coming. I got a lot of good videos coming. It's not going to stop. So on this episode, I want to talk about the meaning of 666, and I want to kind of decode that for you. Now, first, let's kind of like try to get past the whole evil part. Like 666, the whole mark of the beast is evil, and 666 means that some type of code or some Bible code that Lucifer uses to put spells on you, and blah 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 blah. When really 666 is not evil. It's not bad. It's just some numbers put together by some wise wizards. I will say that. And I'm not going to say that it's not a code, and I'm not going to say if you write 666 together, you're not going to call on certain entities, because you will call on the Baphomet, you will call on Pan or the Go-to-Mendes or whatever you want to call it if you write those numbers together. But it's more to it than that, though. 666 does resonate with Capricorn, don't get me wrong. It is astrological, but it's a lot more to it. So let's get into the origins of how 666 came about. Now, 666 came about based on, it got into the Bible. And it got into the Bible from what some people say it came from the Kabbalah, and it's all these different theories. But the bottom line is that 666 came about from the symbol 6 itself. I want to go to the root. I could break all this history down for you about 666, and the Rosicrucians use it for this, and the Knights of Templar use it for that. And don't get me wrong, that's probably good, useful information. But for one thing, I try to make these videos kind of short at times. And if I do go that deep, I do need to do a little bit more research, on my end, so that I can give you a solid facts. Like if I'm gonna go that deep, I'm gonna drop a 2-hour video. You know what I'm saying? And just go that deep. But my videos ain't really designed for that. My videos are designed for, the neophyte, the newcomer, or just the person that's just looking to stimulate their mind real quick with some real quick knowledge, and, of course, I come from a place of, I'm kind of urban, and I try to target more of the person that's not really as read purposefully. I do that on purpose, because I find that people that aren't as read, or as, when I say as read, it's not that you're not smart, but I'm just saying people that aren't like geeks and nerds. And I track them too. Don't get me wrong, but because I feel like I call myself a ghetto intellect, or a spiritual geek, or whatever you want to call it. Like all my astrological freaks and geeks. I've used that terminology before, but so I'm a geek too. But I'm just a geek that knows about the hood, knows about the streets, and I'm not scared of it. So that's the only difference. But I try to attract people. I'm not afraid. Like I want to attract people that's from the hood, and that's not even just from the hood, but people that's just not into the whole college way of thinking and got all this education, because those are, like, at the end of the day, turns into, sometime, I'm not saying I'm not stereotyping you guys, I'm just saying sometime that can turn into a person that really doesn't get the most out of the occult, because they're too caught up on their left brain and proving what's right and what's wrong. And the occult is not about what's right or what's wrong, or what's fact and what's fiction. It's about belief, really. And if you're not really into your right brain, and you don't really understand your right brain, then you really won't understand the occult. To be an occultist, your right brain has to dominate, which means that you're on the left-hand path, because the left hand is connected to the right brain, type of thing. But so your right brain has to dominate, meaning your creative side has to dominate the most, to really get into the occult and understand it, because you have to be creative. You have to be able to people that follow my teachings understand like how to go to one video and check that video out and piece that video together with that video, and they do their own research. If you notice, I'm kind of a maverick, meaning that I don't really subscribe to any one particular doctrine, though I've used a lot of different people's teachings in my videos. And some people say, well, yeah, that's your teacher, Alice Crowley or Dr. York, that's your teacher. But you can't really put a label on me. I mean, I've studied a lot of different people. I've studied people that's dead and people that's living, and even mythological characters that we don't really know who they were in real life. I've studied all kind of stuff, and then I get a lot of information from the ascended masters in meditation, and on top of that, I'm creative. So I just, I use my not just my imagination, but I use my ability to discern and to put two and two together. I'm an investigator, and this is how I come up with my videos. And that's how you got to be if you want to really understand the occult. You can't limit yourself because it's a subject that hasn't really been expounded upon. It's new to us. So to understand the number 6, I know I kind of went off on the end, but it all intertwines together. And this is not going to be a long video because I'm just answering a brief question, not a lesson plan type video. But to understand the number 6, you got to understand how the number 6 is formed. To understand the number 6, you got to understand the number 9. The number 6 is an inverted 9. It's an upside down 9. Or you could say the number 9 is an upside down 6, and really they go together because they represent the yin and the yang. The yang being the 9 and the yin being the 6. You see, and they are the same symbol, just opposites. And they go back to understanding spirals. And the number 6 represents one who is in coming out. The number 9 represents one who is out coming in. So when you draw number 6, you start off like kind of in, and then you go outward. And then if you, depending on how you draw number 9, there's different ways of drawing it. But if you draw number 9, the way I would draw it, you draw it going back in that way, and that would be the 9. So the number 6 is the number 9. I know you're like, why are you talking about the number 9? This is called 666 decoded. In order to decode the number 6, you got to decode the number 9. So 666, let's start off with that. 666 breaks down to 3 parts of our nature. It says in the Bible that 6 is the number of the beast and the number of a man. And you got to remember, we all came from the womb of space, and we all came from a black hole, which is formed like a spiral. So we all came from a spiral. And excuse me if I'm looking down, but I'm in nature right now, and I'm getting attacked on different levels by bugs, so just excuse me. But I like to get out in this because I like to become immune to everything that nature has to offer. So I don't have any problem with it, but just excuse me if I look down. But so you got to remember that the number 666, or the number 6, is supposed to be the number of a man according to the Bible, and it's also the number of a beast. And going back, we come from spirals. We come from black holes in the universe, or we come from the black hole of our mother in the womb. So these black holes represent spirals. So this is why they say the number 6 represents a man, or a woman, a womb man, a man with a womb, or a woman with a womb, however you want to look at it. But we, as a man or a woman, come from a spiral. We come from a hole. So this is why the number 6 represents the number of a man or a female, male or female, or the number of a beast. Now it's broken down into 3 parts. It's broken down into the 3 aspects of your nature. And this is answering a question for my particular queen on Twitter, Ratchet. I just call her Ratchet, but she know who she is. She always tweets me real good questions too. You know what I'm saying? And she's the type of person that nobody would ever think she was conscious. But she's conscious, and I told you I like to attract people like that, because you would think like, oh, she ain't conscious, look at her and all this. And I'm not gonna go into her business, but if you find her online, you'll know who I'm talking about. But beautiful sister, definitely. But she calls herself Ratchet, her name, so you would think she was ignorant, but this is for Ratchet. So anybody else that can benefit from it. So yeah, so you see the whole thing with the whole spiral thing, and it's broken down into 3 parts. Man, the 3 parts of man, which is, that's why they say it's the number of a man and it's the number of a beast, because there's 3 aspects of you as a body or as a beast. The beast part of you just means the body, so your body is broken down into 3 parts, representing the 3 stages of the womb. And those 3 parts are, you start off as a reptilian in the womb. This is how the master teacher taught us. Then you progress into what's called a gray, which is more like kind of like an amphibian, because some grays live underwater and some don't, and they can go on both, on land and water. Then you progress into a human. So this represents the three aspects of you: reptilian, gray, and human. That's the beast part of you. And you may say, well, how am I a beast being a human? Because as a human, you're still a mammal, because you grow hair. So that's the mammalian part of you. That's when the hair and, you know, different parts that animals have, you have. Like grays don't have full socket eyes the way you have. You start to produce your eyes and all that in the last trimester, I believe. I mean, your eye sockets are there, but, you know, they formulate more right when you're about to come into the world or whatever in the last trimester. That's when everything perfects itself and you become a man, but you're still a mammalian being and you're still a hairy being. Just like Inky. Inky was a hairy being. Enlil wasn't as hairy as Inky. And I know I'm talking about something different, but it's all intertwined or whatever. Inky was hairy and Enlil didn't have any hair, because you notice some extraterrestrials have hair and some don't, depending on which planet they come from. So Inky, he was hairy. Like real hair. Like, you know, he was like some people you see, like those yogis that got full beards of hair, or like they call them Bigfoots or Shaggies, covering hair. That's how Inky looked. And Enlil didn't have any hair. He didn't produce hair. So he was like, you know, like the golden child or something. Then he had no eyebrows from some pictures of him or whatever. So two different tribes. But so those are the three different aspects of you. 666. Then you want to flip it into the other spiral, which is the 999. This goes into the spirit part of you, the soul part of you, and then there is the part that transcends spirit and soul, which is the part of you that just exists as a being. It just is. It's just out there. It's not like a spirit is the part of you that breathes. This is the part of you. This is called your breath, your respiratory system. I've talked about this before. So this is your breath. This is the part of you that takes in oxygen and releases it. So you notice in the term respiratory, you see the term spirit. So this is the spiritual part of you. So this is your breath in the air. It's all in the air. You could call that the etheric part of you even. Spirit and ether are equal. Then you have your soul. And your soul is the memory part of you. This is the part that remembers and regains consciousness and can send consciousness to different planets and different star constellations and give it back. And, you know, it can travel. You have a soul body. Believe it or not, your soul body, it looks kind of like your human body, but it's more refined. Some people's soul bodies might not look like their human body. It might look like a mixture of all of your cells over the time when you were incarnating. So you have a soul body. And then you have what's called the part of you that just is, and you exist as a being. And this part, your soul body is composed of light. But this part of you that exists as a being, this is the dark aspect of yourself, actually. This is what exists in triple darkness, because, or what's called triple darkness. In the beginning, everything starts out in darkness, or the black hole aspect of you. So there's a part of you that exists in this realm, and that's a realm that you don't really understand because it's 6th dimension. So you can look at the darker aspect of you as 6D, the soul part of you, or I'm sorry, the spirit part of you actually is 5D and going into some 4D, and then the soul part of you is 4D going into some 5D, because they kind of cross over when you talk about spirit and soul. They kind of share. It's hard to explain, like drawing two circles that intertwine. Like say for instance, you draw a circle here. I wish I had a blackboard. You draw a circle there, and it's like they kind of interlock. Imagine this circle is 5D, and then this next circle right here is 4D, and they kind of interlock, and that they exist in the same realm. There's a part of 5D that crosses over to or overlaps 4D. That's how it is with your spirit and your soul. They kind of overlap each other. So hopefully that helps you to understand. 9 is, again, your soul, spirit, and then the part of you that exists, or the being part of you that is, which is the dark matter aspect of you. A lot of people don't understand this because dark matter is 97% of the universe, actually. They just discovered it. They don't really know a lot about it. I'll do another video on it another time. But I hope that helped you to understand. Remember the 666 part of you. This is the reptilian going into the gray, and going into eventually the human being or the mammal that lives on land. And this is called the beast or the Baphomet. When you put it all together, a Capricorn, actually, there's different depictions of Capricorn. Capricorn is a fish. Capricorn is a goat on land. Capricorn is even a reptilian. on different levels or whatever. So that's why people don't understand Capricorn, because Capricorn kind of exists. It kind of exists in its own realm because it has different glyphs. Like, you know, some people say Capricorn is a seahorse or a sea lion. So I'm talking about Capricorn because this is the beast part of you. So you got to understand all three parts of yourself to really understand 666. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down. Thank you for listening and watching. And, you know, I hope you got something from this. Particular person wanted me to make this video, and people that are watching it for the first time, I hope you got something from it. So thank you for listening and watching. I'm going to go ahead and shut down. Leave you in peace, love, and paradise.